Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Inspired Tribe, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. And boy, are we in for a ride. This is actually exciting. I know some people say, are you nuts? But no, I think this is actually exciting. So I'm going to wait for you people, everybody to jump on. For all of you beautiful people to jump on the platforms. We are on Rumble. We are on YouTube. Currently, the number is stuck on 17. Interesting. So let me see who's in here. We got ZNE OPEC. We got Chicken Lounge. Zdravo. Živio. Volimo vas puno tu. Hvala vam puno. It's Serbia and Idaho in the house. Wonderful to see you all. Chicken Lounge. Then we got Be Happy. Beautiful to see you. We got Lucas. Nick Younger. Summer Young. Nick is younger. We got Elizabeth. Tom. Elizabeth ist aus Österreich. Hallo, wie geht's dir, Elisabeth? Schön, dass du da bist. We got Elizabeth from Austria. Actually, Upper Austria. Beautiful, beautiful part of Austria. We got tutorials. We got James Banks. We got Maggie. Good to see you. Margaret's here. Finally, Margaret. So good to see you. Margaret is a beautiful member of the Inspired Tribe since the beginning. So good to see you. And I believe, if I'm correct, she's currently tuning in from Texas. She might be traveling, but I know she's down in Texas. Then we got Raleigh, North Carolina. Michael's here. Good to see you. Ricardo. Good to see you. Maiden from UK. Good to see you, Ben. Kayleen, Cherokee Moon, beautiful. Finmake, Jan, Mike, Meditation 5D, beautiful. Aurora, Albaum from Sweden. Good to see you. Scandinavia's in the house. New Zealand's in the house. Claudier Couture, beautiful. So good to see you all. Pedro Santos from Portugal. Thank you all. Obrigado. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. All right. So I'm celebrating. Today is being kind of, by many commentators. It's being called the Black Friday. Markets down heavily. And of course, this is you take market plunges in regular times, and you go during the summer, spring, you go, okay, but September plunges are always very, very different. September, these are collapse months, and the collapse it's here. I'm not saying everything's collapsing at the same time, but the collapse is here. We're actually celebrating this, and we're going to get into all the positives. We're going to get into the big picture. We were playing the long con here. The long con, it's paying off, and you can play with us because we got something beautiful to share, all of us. And the time is coming where we'll be able to do this in an extremely efficient manner. So what's happening is that the economies are being collapsed everywhere. The beginning of the end was March 2020. That was the beginning of the end, when everybody went on TV, all the government leaders of the world, and said we're going to lock down. I knew, okay, this is it. The next thing I did was call my dad. I said, okay, are you ready? Because they're doing it. They're pulling the plug on the economy, which is, of course, in our world today, everything. It's the whole system. And then it was gradual, and people said, oh, we're going to bounce. But you don't bounce. This kind of economy, as fragile and as a debt-based, fiat-based economy that barely keeps the balance between constantly rising interest, exponentially rising interest, and economic growth, which cannot be sustained over longer periods of time. It was an illusion to begin with. So I knew if you had only 2 weeks, it would still have collapsed. You cannot shut down this kind of economy worldwide for 2 weeks. It just doesn't work. It's over. And so now the hot phase has begun. Now it's the beginning of the hot phase that is happening now. And what we're seeing is, of course, Europe is in free fall almost. We talk to our friends and family in Europe all the time. Small and medium-sized businesses are done. The power prices are going up 500, 600, 700%. Businesses are being told, you either comply with all these new rules that we're having, and they had to comply for 2.5 years with the fascist rules of the COVID era. Now the energy prices are up, as I said, 5, 6, 7 times. There's no way people can afford this. Of course, consumers can't afford to go to these small businesses because their prices have gone up too. So this is a vicious cycle. As a matter of fact, we just talked to Kristin's parents in Europe, and they said there's so much happening all at once. People are not even really protesting anymore. It's different in other countries, but Austria, it's kind of like they're in a death stare, almost like they're frozen because of all the crap that's going down. They're proposing rules for people not to be able to use their cars and drive above a certain mileage per month. So people don't do this anymore, and they don't go to work anymore. It's in free fall. Also, at the same time, you're seeing heavy protests around the world. I don't know if you've seen it, but Iran is collapsing on that end too. That might, however, be a staged. That might be an infused protest. I believe some of the three-letter agencies are very active again, and they want a regime change. I mean, that's usually the modus operandi. And then we have, of course, the farmers' protests in the Netherlands have been going on for a long time now, because they're all but being banned from farming. Actually, all over the world, farmers are being paid not to farm, while at the same time we have record droughts, record floods, and crops not coming in. Now, here's the thing. It is artificial. It is produced. It is wanted. It was built up over decades. Actually, the buildup of this particular economic collapse began in 1913, 1914 with the implementation of the Federal Reserve Bank, and the final push for every country to have a centralized banking system that is out of the hands of the governments, of course, and it's fiat debt based. So they knew they were going to drive this against the wall. We saw the great exit of 2020, 21, and 2022, which means that CEOs of the biggest corporations, companies, influential, they all exited at numbers we have never seen before, because they see the writing on a wall. They know what's happening. They know eventually the anger is going to turn towards them. So a lot of them fled the field and are probably somewhere out in the country farming and preparing for this time. And this is why we have been talking about this for such a long time. What I meant by the long con, and why we're saying, hooray, finally it's happening. This was always going to happen. I thought, it was going to be 2010, between 27 and 2010, when the first big, the big crash of 2007, 2008 happened. We thought, that's it. This is the moment. And then I think they were going to pull the plug, and then something happened. I don't know what, but something happened, and they went for another round, and they went for another fantasy bubble of economic growth and free money and interest rates down. And of course, now we've built the perfect storm, and now they're doing it. The reason why we're celebrating is because these systems, as much as we hate to agree with the cabal on this, these systems are horrific for mankind. They have enslaved mankind. They have destroyed our planet. I'm not talking about CC. I'm not talking about the CCP, the climate change policy. No, excuse me, that's the Chinese Communist Party. Same thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the Green New Deals. I'm talking about real, visible, feelable, tastable, smellable destruction of our beautiful Mother Earth, poisoning of the air, of the water, and of the land. That's what I'm talking about. We have done this collectively because we were seduced into an economic system that is only built around making money, has no other principles. Now, what they're doing now is, of course, not even close to the solution. This was all built up for them to come in with this enslavement system. But what is happening is something they might have foreseen. We have heard about Project Looking Glass. We've heard about the elites seeing there's a pretend wannabe elites. I'm not even giving them that name. They've seen this awakening of consciousness, and what this awakening of consciousness is bringing is, of course, all the knowledge is coming out everywhere. Just today, we posted a video about the fake history, about civilizations that have been around probably not thousands of years ago, but maybe just hundreds of years ago. Even here in the United States, beautiful, beautiful cities, architecture, technology, it was all there. So these resets happen. What I think we have reached a critical mass of understanding, of comprehension, of consciousness in people. So they're realizing this is happening. And so many are saying, hell no, I do not consent. You can kiss my, you know, you can kiss my glass. You can, am I allowed to cuss on here? You can kiss my ass. And am I allowed to cuss on here? I don't really cuss a whole lot. Sometimes I like to put some spice in it. But so many people are saying, hell no, we're not doing it. We're not going along with this. We are actually taking back our power. We're also taking over. And this is the beautiful thing. This is why we've been saying for such a long time, you need to prepare for this time rather than trying to pretend that it is not coming. It has to come. It is here. It had to come. It has to happen, because these systems need to be completely brought down so we can finally return to our true potential, which has nothing to do with AI. It has nothing to do with the Great Reset, has nothing to do with their wet dream, the Economic Forum people wet dreams and all that crap. Nothing. It has to do with true human potential, divine connection, and nature. And our beautiful connection has to do with the elders. They're returning and teaching us. It's beautiful, beautiful. But our opportunity here is for those who are half prepared and are truly preparing. What you have is, rather than now trying to survive through this period, and for so many, thankfully, they have been preparing rather than trying to survive and just being fixated on necessities. We have an opportunity, as people are seeing that this is for real. They have been lying. They have been lying on the medicals. They have been lying on the biologicals. They have been lying on the economy. They have been lying about everything. And people are beginning to see this. So if you are ready, if you are there, if you are prepared, then people that have an eyes to see and ears to hear, they will ask you questions, and you can begin giving them a broader picture and show them where they need to look. A good idea would be to create some offline analog paper information trail, so when the grid goes down or the internet goes down and all that crap is being turned off, because at some point, in order to mitigate the reaction of the people, they're gonna want to turn this off. It's not gonna help. They know it. They're just I think they're just in the corner. Don't really know what to do with this anymore. But have some stuff printed out. Have some of the most significant evidence about the medical system over the past 2.5 years, especially some of the most significant studies, the significant numbers about everything that's happened in the past 2.5 years. Have that ready. That's a huge red pill for so many people, because once you realize how this was pulled off and how it was pulled off on a massive worldwide scale, then you don't have a hard time imagining how they pull off all the other stuff that they've been pulling off for such a long time. That's a big eye opener, because it was the truly first worldwide event that any of us have lived through, where almost everybody was affected, almost everybody in some way, shape, or form. So this has never happened before to any of us. And even those who have been around in World War II, it's never happened everywhere in the world. So really, really important. And then we will have the opportunity to help those people physically with what we have and what we share, and the food and whatever. But we will also have the ability to help them with information, knowledge, and wisdom. This is the great opportunity, because it's coming down. It is literally right now coming down, and it's going to unfold over the next months. This is not just happening overnight. It's going to unfold. We're going to see big events, smaller events. And as a matter of fact, compared to 2019, 2018, 2017, and the years before, what is now happening within 1 week used to take a year. Just the scale of how many events. I mean, whole governments have been stepping down in the past months, or have been stepped down. That just kind of, people are not really reacting bigly to those news anymore, because it's just like boom, 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 all the time, everywhere. Everything's happening all at the same time. So people cannot really even comprehend what's going on anymore. This is what a collapse looks like. It's like the dominoes, boom, 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 and it's all falling down. And if you are in a position where you have the necessities in place, where you're like, okay, I feel good about, whatever happens, I can hold my own. I have a little bit of family around me, friends, community around me. If not, now is really the perfect time to reach out. And I don't mean this in an egotistical way, just for your own benefit. It is so beautiful when you can share what you have to offer and others can share what they have to offer. So we are in this, and we need to celebrate this, because this celebration is also realizing we truly are in power, and which brings us to a bigger picture. Whoever told you that someone else on this earth has more power than you, or more dominion or more right, that's just what they just said it. They just pretend it's that way. It's not true. We all have the same rights, we all have the same opportunities, and we also have the same responsibilities. So it's our duty now to freaking take over. And we won't even probably, we won't even have to defend ourselves violently too much. I believe there will be, I call self-defense, I call it the end of violence. I don't call that violence. Self-defense is the end of violence, is you want to end the violence that's being brought to you. It's it's a legitimate birthright that we all have. And I think at some point, yeah, that's also, that's also going to be necessary, because in some places, at sometimes, they will lose their minds and try to just force everything on you. And when that happens, well, you got to do what you got to do. And that's also an important part of this piece. But mainly, when we are in a state of preparedness, and preparedness to me means balance. Balance is always the physical and the spiritual, all aspects combined. When we are in that state, we can be of assistance to others. This is going to be exponentially beautiful, because people very soon are going to meet in their town squares. They're going to meet outside in larger groups. They're going to have conversations. They're going to share things. They're going to begin to work together closely. And you know what they're going to give to these dark forces that are out there trying to steer the narrative all the time? You know what they're going to do? That's a big fuck you. A big fuck you to all of them. A big, you are obsolete. You are not even the dirt underneath our fingernails. That's how obsolete you are. They know this. They know when consciousness awakens, when consciousness rises, they have zero power. They are stupid, insignificant, consciousnessless entities. Have zero power when we awaken to our true power, and theirs will vanish. It will vanish. We have this opportunity. I'm not saying it's happening overnight. I'm not saying it happening in a matter of minutes or days, but over time, this is the result that we're going to have if and only if we step into our true power in all areas. So it's a new game. The game's not anymore what the market is doing. The market is doing this. Yes, there are sectors that are going to survive through this. The technology sectors, those who have invested in AI and the chips and all that, they're going to do better in the near future. But our opportunity now is to take over the conversation. All that you've learned, all that you've researched, all the conclusions you've come to, infuse them into conversations. Become a leader. Don't force it on people. Don't try to persuade them. Don't try to make them see it. But those who are interested, they're going to reach out to you, because they will remember, oh, wait a minute, I had a weird conspiracy friend. And that's our opportunity. Inspired Tribe, we're celebrating a big hooray. We love that this is happening. Please join us on this journey. Become one of the leaders, and lead by example. Lead with your light. Lead with your love. Lead with your knowledge. This is the time. I'm actually excited. I know a lot of people are going to suffer. I know a lot of people will not make it, and I have to accept that. I'm not celebrating that fact. I'm accepting it's part of this journey. They will come. They will return probably in the cycle. They will have their opportunity to make their own journeys in their own time. And for us, it's a different thing, and that is okay. That is absolutely okay. Release all judgment. Let's do this together. Let's actually, um, it's kind of like, watching this dark empire sink itself. And even though it's uncomfortable, even though we have some things that we were attached to that are leaving us now, feel free to grieve, feel free to accept it, feel free to let go. But it's beautiful. We've been waiting for this and working on this and co-creating this for such a long time. And more importantly, the future is already here. The future of happy families, the future of elders that we return, we actually give them a place again. We're going to talk about this more in the following days and weeks. The future of real education for our children, beautiful education that we have experienced, seen, learned about. This is coming in an exponentially larger way. It's just absolutely amazing. The food, the natural, beautiful food, natural water revolution, it's happening. We have it in place. We're ready for this. People like Jim Gale of the Food Forest Abundance, people like Gabriel Miguel of the Anastasia Foundation, people that see the big vision, and a new civilization, a new, beautiful, original civilization is emerging, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. Nothing. Try hard as they may, this is happening. All right, tribe, we love you. We appreciate you, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.